This afternoon, Dominican, straight off the bat, I want to tell you guys straight off the message that will be delivered here to you guys this evening. It's one of hope, yeah, one of hope. And so we have to look, we have to be upbeat, we have to be looking forward to the future. I know things are rough, things are very tough in Dominica, but we always would like to keep our spirits up, keep our spirits alive and well, hoping that things will get better. Yes? So this evening, we're gonna speak to more of that sort of hopefulness, as it were, in a land where there's a lot of despair going around. There's a lot of, shoulder shrugging, and I can feel it in the atmosphere. But I am one who always like to see that glass, as they say, half full instead of half empty. And for too long now, some of us, we have been seeing that glass half empty. Let us start to see that glass half full, and eventually see that glass full and also pouring over. Yes, indeed. Dominicans, we have much to celebrate. I want to say straight off as I start here with you this afternoon, I want to congratulate in a very, very big way our sportswoman in Dominica, that is Thea Lafont. She basically put us on the map this evening by she winning gold, yes, at the Olympic Games in Paris. And so, Miss Lafont, thank you very much. I know you said hard work is what did it. And so this afternoon's conversation with us, the people here, we will be talking about hard work as well, and how once we persevere, like you did, Thea, and continue to do, then we will have those rewards as well. So all of us in Dominica at this time, all of you outside of Dominica, you guys supposed to be celebrating with Miss Lafont this afternoon, because it is history. Right here, we are part of history, whereby gold, Thea Lafont brought in the gold under the name of Dominica. And so all of us who are Dominicans, we need to celebrate indeed. That is a tremendous feat, tremendous achievement by a young lady, an ordinary young lady, I must say, who had her own struggles in growing up, being a teacher, and she too can attest to some of what we are going through at this time. But as you will hear her say in just a bit, she persevered. She did not let the doom and gloom that surrounded her back then, in spite of the not having the facilities to train properly and to achieve her dream, to go through with her aspirations. She did not let that stop her. Yes, she may have been daunted, but as I say, where there is a will, there is a way. And yes, she made a way. And it's on that premise, it's in those vein, I want us this evening, Dominicans, we have been talking about we want change. And when we hear that, well, when I hear that, I am getting the impression that some of us, we want change, but we are waiting for that change for somebody else to do it. Let me alert you guys this evening. If you want that change, it is you that have to make that change, nobody else. It is you and I coming together to basically create a way, or create ways where there is no way. And so with the broken spirit that some of us have in Dominica, we need now to make that way. And so that is why I said this evening, that message, I want to really have it resonate in our spirits this afternoon as we are moving on, in that a message of hope amidst the despair, I dub this evening's conversation with us. Yes? And so Those of you now who are sick among us, those of you who are in bed, whatever your sickness is at this time, be it a frailty in your body or in your spirit moving forward, I really want to, as the big one above, the great one, to come down now and exact that kind of treatment, exact that kind of medication, exact that kind of consolation at this time, so that you will be well again and you can continue to contribute meaningfully to your family, your friends, your loved ones, and by extension your country. Yeah, so just believe, people, that it is already well. You need to speak certain things into the spiritual realm and believe it, leave it there, and see it be materialized in the physical. And so that is the challenge I want to pose to you guys this evening. Whatever you may be going through at this time, you know better than me. Just punch it in the spiritual and be convinced about it in terms of rectifying whatever it is. Yeah? Indeed. That is a sort of good mental posture to take on, even amidst what we're going through as a country, even amidst what we're going through as a people. Healing people begins up there. The doctors, the physicians, whoever it is may come to administer to us their medication. But coupled with what they administer, it is our approach, our mindset, our mentality towards whatever it is we're going through. 50% there, that's it. And that is why I want to inject that sort of level of enthusiasm going forward now as a people. Yeah? For too long, sometimes we have been complaining and waiting for someone else to do it so that we could benefit. I am urging us this evening, we need to step up. We can do it as well so that others can benefit. Yeah? And that is just the posture we have to take on and moving forward. So at least I have one or two regional stories that I want us to touch later. But we will more or less be dealing with some domestic issues. There are a lot of things plaguing us in this country. When I say plague, I mean in the negative. We'll not be dwelling on them too much, but we have to touch some of them. But the gist of the conversation, for those of you joining now, it will be one of optimism one in nature, looking forward, looking to that bright prospect. All right, and so Miss Lafont this evening, basically, it's from that launching pad now. We want to launch that conversation, congratulating, as I said, Thea Lafont for putting Dominica on the map. She secured the gold in that triple jump at the Olympic Games. And every Dominican now, no matter where you are, no matter your political persuasion, whatever it is, you're supposed to be proud, feel very proud for our own. Let me see if I can get to Tia. And basically give you some of her comments, just as she won gold earlier this evening when she was being interviewed briefly by some sports personality. Take a little listen, people, to Thea Lafont as she speaks.
You know, it's a little crazy because I'm really realizing little bits of history as people tell me. And so when I came out here and I jumped that job, I was like, okay, it's hard enough. Okay, one. And okay, Dominica looks good. But I don't really think I realized the grand scheme of things until, someone asked me a question about a history and for my country in interviews like this. And so when I always say it's a privilege, it really, really is. I mean, my people have been behind me since I was 16 doing this. And to finally bring home a gold for them is so special. And just knowing how hard my coach and husband worked, knowing how hard my Olympic committee and athletic association worked to support me. I used to be a teacher. I used to wake up and work out 5 a.m. in the morning, go to a classroom, and be on the track afterwards. And in order to have me focus on that, they really supported me. It's paid off. It really has.
You know what's really beautiful about what you said after the competition right now is you fully understand how sport can transcend.
Yeah.
So tell us about your people.
My people are amazing. Dominica, aka Waitukubuli, is the nature isle of the Caribbean. It is beautiful. It is a gem. The people are as beautiful as the land, and the support and love is abundant. And when I say it really takes a village to raise a child, let it be known that outside my family, and I do love my family, it really was the people that I met along the way, the people that they put in my life, that kind of made me who I was, who made me resilient. And I'm so proud to be from that beautiful land. Thank you, Dominica.
And last question, how are they going to be celebrating in Dominica? What do you believe the response will be back home?
I have no clue. I don't even know if I've thought past, will I have drug testing after this if I'm chugging water? But I will say, have a drink for me, my island, and just keep loving one another and supporting your young athletes. That's all I ask, so that more of these medals can come our way.
I'm really grateful for this conversation and congratulations.
Thank you so much for your time. You have a great day.
Thank you.
Very well. It's a little crazy because I'm really realizing little bits of history as people tell me. And so when I came out here and I jumped that jump, I was like, okay, it's hard enough. Okay, one. And okay, Dominica looks good. But I don't really think I realized the grand scheme of things until, someone asked me a question about history and for my country in interviews like this. And so when I always say it's a privilege, it really, really is. I mean, my people have been behind me since I was 16 doing this. And to finally bring home a gold for them is so special. And just knowing how hard my coach and husband worked, knowing how hard my Olympic committee and athletic association worked to support me. I used to be a teacher. I used to wake up and work out 5 a.m. in the morning, go to a classroom, and be on the track afterwards. And in order to have me focus on that, they really supported me. It's paid off. It really has.
You know what's really beautiful about what you said after the competition right now is you fully understand how sport can transcend.
Yeah.
So tell us about your people.
My people are amazing. Dominica, aka Waitukubuli, is the nature isle of the Caribbean. It is beautiful. It is a gem. The people are as beautiful as the land, and the support and love is abundant. And when I say it really takes a village to raise a child, let it be known that outside my family, and I do love my family, it really was the people that I met along the way, the people that they put in my life, that kind of made me who I was, who made me resilient. And I'm so proud to be from that beautiful land. Thank you, Dominica.
And last question, how are they going to be celebrating in Dominica? What do you believe the response will be back home?
I have no clue. I don't even know if I've thought past, will I have drug testing after this if I'm chugging water? But I will say, have a drink for me, my island, and just keep loving one another and supporting your young athletes. That's all I ask, so that more of these medals can come our way.
I'm really grateful for this conversation and congratulations.
Thank you so much for your time. You have a great day.
Thank you.
Very well.
All right, people. Again, we want to congratulate Miss Thea Lafont. Her surname is Lafont Gadson. She's married. And so let me just give her full accolades at this time. So Mrs. Thea Lafont Gadson. We in Dominica, we really and truly want to congratulate you, my friend. As you said, hard work. Your hard work paid off. And so folks, in just a bit, what Thea said to us this evening, in terms of just that brief conversation that this sports personality had with her, there's much to unpack in what Thea said and translate it or relate it back to our very own situation in Dominica. a very humble soul, a very beautiful soul. That is Miss Thea. You could see she take things in strides. And that is the kind of level of hopefulness. That is the level of your future being bright that we want to concentrate on this evening, people in Dominica. My friend from Grenada, you are there with us. Good evening to you in a very special way. Navia Newman. Good evening to you and your people in Grenada, and you guys also for participating as well. But tonight is sort of a sort of, you know, jealous conversation, in that we're going to focus on our own in Dominica tonight. Thea Lafwa, she said, came from very humble beginnings, people. Very humble beginnings. There was no golden spoon scenario that she met or was brought up with, rather. She had to work her way through life. And that is a sort of Dominican dream that all young people in Dominica in particular would want to emulate. We have a lot of Theas out there, both male and female, in terms of their dreams and aspirations. A lot. And when you walk the streets of Dominica, you go into the communities in Dominica, and you hear some of these young people, how they speak to you, what they say to you in terms of their aspirations and their dreams, then you know that their future should be bright. Thea is in sports. We have other Theas in agriculture. We have other Theas in the scientific world. We have other Theas in a whole other range of academic excellencies or whatever it is in terms of their skill or skills that they want to contribute to their country, to their society. But I must say, the country in which we live, people, it is so myopic. We are so locked into a kind of situation that the Theas out there cannot really and truly be empowered one, and cannot really and truly be left to execute. Because why? Their chance for excellence is very, very limited. The young lady that you've seen on the screen now, she basically had to persevere against all odds, and today the country, and by extension the world, must be celebrating with her. And so that is what I really want to implore on all young people, in particular in Dominica. You have the potential to be a Thea as well. The reality of our situation is that when people like Thea are going through their grinds, they're putting in the hard hours, the long hours, they're putting in the hard work, then a lot of us, we don't see that. We don't hear about that. We only see the big picture. We only see, like today we have seen the gold that she brought home. But that gold, people, did not come by just lazing around. That gold did not come by she just sitting down on the block, or she just doing nothing and expecting everything. No. She had to put in the hours. She had to put in the sweat. She had to put in the toil. And it's in that very same vein. Mothers, if you're around this live now, call your sons, call your daughters. because they need to hear what is happening so that they could be infused about their tomorrow. There could be some sort of hope injected in their being about tomorrow. Look at where Tia is. Tia basically is on top of the world now, looking down. There are a lot of fears out there, people. There are a lot. But as I said, when you go through the Dominica that I know, and you hear some of their stories, you're wondering, will they ever aspire or can aspire to be a Thea? Will they ever be made to be an excellent contributor in whatever their calling is to benefit Dominican and Dominicans? We have excellent sports people out there. Look, Thea is a perfect example. In Dominica, as we speak, Thea got that gold in the triple jump. 15 and more meters. As we speak, people, there's absolutely no facility like that in Dominica. None. So the Thea that you're seeing on the screen there, with this Dominica flag basically around her shoulders, making us feel very proud. If she had to remain in this country to do the necessary what she had to do, the training, the putting in the hours, the hard work, most likely there's a very strong possibility that she would not be where she is today. And so that is why we are saying, no, people, it is this kind of prevailing circumstance that we have been subjected to as a people for so long, where our young people, energetic young people, ambitious young people, their dreams, their aspirations are dashed aside. And so Dominicans, how long are we going to be in that situation by our passiveness? How long? Everything, people, everything, it rides on leadership, the quality of leadership that you have, be it in your home, be it in your country. And so the type of leadership that we had in Dominica and we have in Dominica, it is not up to par. It has not been up to par. The leadership of the country has not cleared the way or made the way for young people in particular like Thea to thrive. And I can say that on the highest mountain in Dominica because that is a fact. Do you know the amount of young cricketers we have out there? The amount of young footballers, aspiring footballers we have out there? Do you know the amount of other sports personalities that are just there? And their potential, it is just waiting to be unlocked. But how can that potential be unlocked when you have a country that is not providing the necessaries in terms of whatever it is to make these young people reach their true potential? And so as much as I want to stay out of the whole political realm today, because it is a conversation that we're having about optimism, about seeing that glass half full, I must come and knock the political directorate for 25 years in this country have not contributed a dime. And if we are true to our consciences, people, 25 years we have had a government, or what passes or poses for government, that has basically done very, very little in terms of unlocking the potential of our young people, in particular in Dominica. And so all their dreams and aspirations and what they long for, what they dream of, cannot be materialized in this country. And so hence, we have to hear the sentiment that I'm going overseas. What does Dominica have to offer me to make me realize my potential? And it is sad, very, very sad, that we can be living in a country where there is so much potential in its human resource and its natural resources, and this country is so far back. Dominicans, I don't know when we will get it. I don't know what it will take for us to get it, but we have to get it. As I said, we have to make that all-important change. Change begins with you. Change begins with me. Please do not wait on anybody else to come and effect that change. You are a change maker. And so if you are suffering inside, like I know a good portion of you guys are, you need to come and exact that sort of solution to your suffering. You need to do that, people. Nobody else is going to do it for you. So today we are all smiles about Thea. That is in order. But if Thea had to stay in Dominica, there's nothing in Dominica that would have facilitated her reaching at the pinnacle of her success today. And so it is that kind of drive, that kind of conversation, that kind of avenue that we have to let the powers that be know straight up. If you guys cannot come up with the political goods to benefit us in the country, you need to make space. You need to make space, step aside. And so these people will not just step aside by asking them to. It is your will, my will, coupled together that will ensure that happens. Where in Dominica, just where, can any young person, as we speak, be it a triple jumper like Thea, be it a footballer, be it a cricketer, be it a volleyballer, be it whatever it is, a tennis player, whatever it is, netball player, just name the sport. What is it and where is it that these young people can go to really start to unlock their potential, their sporting potential? Where? And some people may not want to hear me say that. But at the end of the day, I must be the truth carrier to the people out there and let them realize that where we have been, we could have been much further if we were not in that decadent state as it pertains to the governance of our country. I know we have other issues as a country, as a people, but the type of governance that we have been subjected to, this played and is playing a fundamental role in keeping us where we are, at the bottom of the ladder, in all aspects of things, as it relates to the region in which we live, and by extension, the world in which we live. When we hear about Dominica, we need to be hearing much more. The news like Thea over the years. We need to be hearing much more productive and prosperity news about our people. Because we can do it. We have done it before, we can do it again. And Thea today just proved it against all odds. She persevered. And we can now celebrate with her. Dominicans, we all have a dream. But the country that we are living in, it doesn't and cannot lend itself to that dream being a reality because of the mal-governance we have been subjected to for the past 20-something years. And I cannot say it any better. I cannot put any more water in my wine, as it were. I cannot mellow it down. I cannot simmer it down. The truth is the truth, the whole truth, the gospel truth. Watch our playing facilities in Dominica. What's supposed to pass for playing facilities in Dominica? Watch our grounds in Dominica. Watch our playing fields in Dominica. Right there, they are living examples or testimonies as to the word that I'm punching at you. They are not lit properly. They are not taken care of properly. There's no proper seating arrangements in this place properly. The grass is like Jurassic Park in the majority of them. And the list goes on and on and on and on. And so when a government, like what we have in Dominica, will not see the need to help young people, that is what they were placed there for. It is to look at the better interests of Dominicans. And they will not see the need to do that. Then why do we have a government? And so that government that is headed by Roosevelt Skerry, it has failed the Dominican public by and large. That government that has been there for 20-something years, passing as the Labour Party, it has failed the people of Dominica. It has failed the young people of Dominica, to be more precise. The young people like the Theas out there, their real potential. It's like a vehicle. Unless you turn that key, people, and that engine start to roar, you will not know the kind of power that you're dealing with. That is how Dominicans are. The government has not and cannot get us started. So our true and raw potential to move and make things happen, we will never know, some of us. And I'm not talking about any political party now. I'm talking about Dominica's governance. So whoever it is that must be there, we have to find people to replace that, or these people, to usher in now a new era, a new day. We have to. So you think in the political realm, there is not a Thea out there? You think in the political scientist realm, there is not a Thea out there, or there are not Theas out there that can watch our country and help put it back on track, politically speaking, where we rightfully belong, where our people could be motivated to put in the hours like Thea and get it done. And the saddest thing about it, people, or one of the saddest situations there, is that this government, or what passes for government, has had the most money throughout all the other past governments that passed in the history of Dominica. And that is a fact, because the other government was talking about, the only time you heard billions is when at budget time. But everything now in Dominica is about $1 billion plus. So through the selling of our passports, through the selling of our people's birthrights, as it were, this, what passes for government, has copped up, has picked up, has been awashed with much more resources, financially that is, and our people are at our worst. And so if that mathematics you can understand, I cannot understand that mathematics. That is a mathematical madness that is happening in this country. We cannot have more now and be producing less, when it was the reverse in the days gone by. And the records are there to show people. The records are there to show. And so if we have fear can put us on the map today, as I said, there are many, many more fears among us. But that potential, it is just waiting to be unlocked. And if those potentials are not unlocked and unlocked in time, then we have what we have today, with our young men and our young women just falling through the cracks. So they will never, ever get into a position to be like a Thea. Or even if they cannot aspire to be a Thea, because everybody's different, aspire to be themselves and be comfortable within their skin. Rather, we have them on the blocks. We have them behind all drum that beat, trying to find some kind of comfort, trying to find their way as a young person. Young women, our young women now are basically turning to using their bodies to make ends meet in this country. That is what it boils down to, or has boiled down to, people. Because why? The jobs that they speak of so deceptively that are in abundance, these jobs are not there. These jobs are not there for the ordinary striving young man or young woman. And so you have our young men have to now go and risk their lives in the bush to plant weed, plant marijuana, sell cocaine, whatever it is they have to sell on the black or illegal market to try to make ends meet if they have a family to help feed their family. I am not condoning any illegal behavior, but at the end of the day, survival comes first. And so if a young man in this country in 2024, it is, let us say that the young man is, let's say 40 years now, 40, just I'm using a rough figure. 25 years of that brother's life, that young man's life, he has not seen, or in a young lady, she has not seen anything other in terms of governance than this, what passes for party in Dominica, that has failed the country miserably. That young man, that young woman would have been a tender age of 15. 15 and 25 is 40. So you are an adult that is supposed to be taking on adult business, making conscious, right decisions. You are that age, you are the right old age to have a family and to train and treat your family in a way that it should be beneficial to country. But you are stuck for the past 25 years, and there are many folks of you like that out there. I meet you on a day-to-day basis. You talk to me. So I feel your pain. I can hear the passion coming through. But you have been stuck with this for the past 25 years. So your entire productive adult life, as it were, you are just seeing it going down the drain. And when somebody, an adult, it is scientifically said or proven, when somebody reach the ripe age of 40, 45, 50 years max, and they have not achieved some of their dreams and aspirations in life, then they get to there's a flip that happened mentally. So in creeping up to those ripe old age, there's that drive, there's that urge, there's that eagerness, there's that zealousness to work towards whatever your dream is. But when that age has reached and you realize, based on your efforts and efforts to come, these cannot be realized, then there's a mental switch that happens. And some people just go into a sort of depression, having a lot of regrets. And they turn to the bottle, they turn to drugs, they turn to all kind of things to help them cope. And right now in Dominica, as I speak to you, watch the street of Roseau. Go around your community or communities and decipher for yourself what I'm saying. That is our present reality. A lot of people cannot in this country make ends meet at 50 years of age. They are still struggling to make ends meet. Some people don't have what it takes, what they call a house, a home. They don't have a structure over their head to call their own. And to some of them, that is like so depressing. They don't have a proper job to make ends meet. And so it really retards progress. And so today, rightly so, we are celebrating with Mrs. Gadson, Thea Lafont Gadson. We are celebrating with her. But as I said before, if she had stayed in Dominica, there would be a 99.95% chance that she would not have been where she is today. So imagine, multiply Thea now by thousands and see what you get, or understand what you get. At least Thea escaped. There are many of us who cannot escape. Because why? The situation is not right to escape. And by the way, what is a country to you in terms of benefit if you only have to escape to prosper? What is that country to you if it's only you have to go out of this country to make a living, to survive? What is good in that country? And so when you speak to some of these young people, you hear that sort of pessimism coming through. Lofty, I'm trying. Lofty, I don't know what to do again. Lofty, the country is rough. It is tough. Lofty, I'm trying to go overseas. I'm trying to go to St. Kitts. I'm trying to go to Antigua. I'm trying to go to hell to try to make ends meet. That is the sentiment, people. And I really feel for these young people. But I really want to use this medium to inject some kind of hope, to inject some kind of better tomorrow. Dominica will be. With your energy, my energy, our energies coupled together. Watch the year. Thea standing here today before us. It is a perfect picture, a perfect example of what the Dominica dream that we speak of. She is a perfect example. A lot of Dominicans have dreams. So the question is there a Dominican dream that we can look forward to? Is there a Dominican dream that our young people can thrive? Is there such a thing called a Dominican dream anymore? Whereby a young person would sit and sort of try to envisage what or who they want to be. And the possibilities, the avenues are there to pursue. And so, young people, it is your country. It is my country. It is our country. And so whatever we have to do, whatever it is that we have to do to release ourselves from that, we need to do, people. We need to. Before we move further and go to some of your comments, let us just try to go through Thea's brief conversation with the sports personality. Listen to hear what she said and try to put into context in Dominica what Thea is telling us, especially the young people in Dominica.
You know, it's a little crazy because I'm really realizing little bits of history as people tell me. And so when I came out here and I jumped that job, I was like, okay, it's far enough. Okay, one. And okay, Dominica looks good. But I don't really think I realized the grand scheme of things.
Stop right here, Thea. Stop right there. People heard what Thea said. Thea said she's doing her jumping, she's enjoying herself, she's trying to excel. But in all that, she did not even understand the grand scheme of things that she has been doing over the years, this step by step by step by step. And today, it basically burst through in terms of reward. And so that is a message in and out of itself to our young people in Dominica, and by extension our people. It is what we do on a daily basis, the getting up in the morning, having that positive attitude and helping ourselves, helping to extricate, move out from that kind of whatever it is that has taken over, the darkness, the blackness that has taken over our country. It is the doing, not just the talking, the doing that will set us like a Thea, so that one day, someday, which is not too far, we will understand now in the grand scheme of things what we were doing then to get to where we were. The waking up in the morning, the exercising, the training, the sacrificing, the money spent, the missing of loved ones, the hard work that goes with it. Thea said she couldn't put it or piece it together. So all along the way, she was just doing these things, but her mind was on a goal. She was set to achieve something, and she did not stop. She did not make anything deter her. And that is the kind of spirit that I want now to inject in our people in Dominica. We have to set our mind on something. Let us be prepared to act in a manner or in ways to get things done. I know, Dominicans, it is very tough. So me telling you that now, it is like I am talking to a stone wall, some of you, because that will not go through very easily. I know that. Because the situation that surrounds you, that surrounds us, it is like very impossible to let your dream and my dream be unlocked like Thea. But what Thea said, she kept going. She kept going. Day after day, night after night, months on, years on, she kept going. And it is that kind of attitude that we need now to take on to ourselves and apply to our country situation, apply to our situation. That is the kind of posture. Nothing else will do. And the sort of lazy mentality that has taken over us, because the government of the day thinks that they can just come and give you, put you in that lazy mode, that unproductive mode, so they can give you a house, they can give you $200, they can give you, and you don't have to work for it. That sort of mentality is what has retarded your progress and your country by extension. So if you want to see movement in that department, when this government come and give you a little $200 to shut you up, a little $200 for you to buy a volant, and they're not teaching you to fish, when they're giving you $5 to buy fish, you need to tell them, provide the boat, provide the facilities, provide whatever it is, so that you can be a fisherman or fisher folk, so you can earn your own money. Don't give you anything. Life is not about giving. Life is certainly not all about giving and getting. There's something called by the sweat of thy brow. And it is much so rewarding when you sweat and you reap that reward. You feel much more contented. You feel well, like yes. And that in and out of itself, it is the energy or the catalyst that you need to move on to higher heights. But with that kind of mentality that our government has allowed, or we have allowed our government to put us in. So you need a mattress, they give it to you. You need a cup to drink tea, they give it to you. You need an underwear to put on you, they give it to you. You need whatever you need, they give it to you. Not realizing that sort of system has not worked anywhere in the world yet. A matter of fact, it has backfired. Cuba is a perfect example. Right there on our shores. Cuba. But when you can earn a living, an honest living, that is what will bring out the best in anybody. As a matter of fact, the human spirit, it is one that always wants to fend for itself. That is the spirit that is within all human beings. No human being wants to be subjected to quote unquote a master for too long. You're a child. You are born of a mother, a woman. She feed you, she breastfeed you, she bottle feed you, she spoon feed you, but you can see that child in terms of making progress. There comes a time when that child will reject that mother's love in terms of feeding. They want now to feed themselves. And so from right there, you can see it made manifest that the human spirit that you are endowed with, it says to you, you need to fend for yourself. But when you are a grown woman, a grown man, and a government would want to feed you, that is where the problem is. And that is where we have been for so long. So people, we need to start to feed ourselves. And it is only we that can help to feed ourselves when we start to do certain things. Let's continue, Miss Godson.
Until, someone asked me a question about history and for my country in interviews like this. And so when I always say it's a privilege, it really, really is. I mean, my people have been behind me since I was 16 doing this. And to finally bring home a gold for them is so special. And just knowing how hard my coach and husband worked, and knowing how hard my Olympic committee and athletic association worked to support me. I used to be a teacher. I used to wake up and work out 5 a.m. in the morning, go to a classroom and be on the track afterwards. And in order to have me focus on that, they really supported me. It's paid off. It really has.
Here's the punch I want to leave you guys with, or continue with you guys on. Here's the punch. Thea just said it. The hard work, the very arduous work that I've been talking about, Thea just said it. Some of our young people at 5 o'clock, what are they doing? What are you guys doing, some of you at 5 o'clock in the morning? Tell me. Some of you parents, you are there on the live feed. Tell me what some of your young people or people you know they are doing at 5 o'clock. Let's have that conversation. What are some of your young people doing at 5? Tia said it. At 5 o'clock, this young lady that you're seeing in the frame, she did whatever she had to do in terms of waking up that body, getting it up, to move, to go, get it active. But some of our young people in Dominica are inactive at those times of day. Some of our young people, they go to sleep drunk. Literally drunk on all sorts of substances. According to the death announcement, too numerous to mention. So at 5 o'clock, that body that's supposed to be up at 4:30 and 4 cannot be up doing anything productive. Coupled with that, some of the same young people, it's what? After midnight, that they even think of a bed after midnight. So it's 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning. Some of these young people, they go to rest or put their body to rest. And so some of them whole day they are in la la land. They are nowhere close to being productive members of society. Fear said it. So right there, young people, it is a perfect example. Fear is saying to you guys, is telling you guys, so that you can emulate to the best of your ability. You know, if you're not a sports person, you don't have to get up 5 o'clock to hit the track to train like Thea. If you're a young person and you're in the trades, carpentry, plumbing, electricals, get up at 5 o'clock, get a backpack, and do whatever you have to do. Somebody might see that eagerness, might see that enthusiastic gesture, and may just say, you know something, let me try to unlock that young man, that young woman's potential. She's trying. But if you're in bed, nobody will see you in bed. If you're sleeping and you don't know what is happening around you, don't expect anybody to lend a hand to you in terms of helping you support your dreams and aspirations. So imagine young Thea in Dominica being a teacher, teaching school children, teaching young people, but had to put in the hours before she actually went to work. Before she went to work. So you can well imagine the sacrifice. You can well imagine whatever she had to do, she did. Where are you on that, young people? Where are you on that? Where are you on that, young people, in terms of that attitude? And so it is very sad, very, very sad to know where some of our young people are. And I'm mentioning young people in particular today more often than not, because I believe some of our older folks past 50, then no disrespect, but there's not much more that is expected of you to contribute to country other than enjoying the days as they go by. So 50, 55 in my mind, that is the engine room there of productivity and everything good. When you reach 60 down there, there's no bank going to watch and give you a loan at 60, 65 now. You made your time. If you did not have that then, as I said before, don't think of having it again. That is it. You have to be one of the chosen few, as they say, to be at 60, 65 going down there, and for you to be all up into everything. If you will serve with the same spoon like the ordinary Dominican is being served with now. So our productive years, as I said before, at least 25 of those years have gone already. And that's a reality. We cannot lose any more time. We should not be losing any more time.
What you said after the competition right now is you fully understand how sport can transcend.
Yeah.
So tell us about your people.
My people are amazing. Dominica, aka Waitukubuli, is the nature isle of the Caribbean. It is beautiful. It is a gem. The people are as beautiful as the land. and the support and love is abundant. And when I say it really takes a village to raise a child, let it be known that outside my family, and I do love my family, it really was the people that I met along the way, the people that they put in my life that kind of made me who I was, who made me resilient. And I'm so proud to be from that beautiful land. Thank you, Dominica.
Here is it again, people. Here is it again from the mouth of someone celebrating today. Hear how good Thea spoke of us in Dominica as her people. Thea did not use any other language than what she knew. She talks about it is a village that raised her. She loved her family, but the village basically brought her up into who she is today. That is what we have known, people. And so when that village came around a child or children and molded us, that is what they wanted for us. They wanted gold for us. They wanted the best for us. And so that is how highly Thea spoke of Dominica and Dominicans in terms of our resiliency. She is a perfect example of what it is to be resilient. She is a perfect example. She epitomizes resiliency in the truest of form. That is Thea. There are many, many more Theas out there in the different disciplines. Many, many more resilient young people out there as well. Dominicans, we can do it. And so never, ever let anybody tell you that you cannot. That word can't or cannot should not be part of your vocabulary as it relates to your dreams, your aspirations, and whatever good you wish for your life. So that is, those were Thea's words as she gave this reporter just a snapshot, an idea of just where she came from. And it says a lot. She said a lot there. Today, what we have on our hand, we have moved so far from that sort of environment that Thea has espoused, in that today you have neighbors and are talking to neighbors. And sometimes, sadly so, it is because of politics. Oh, I am a Labour right. My neighbor is a UWPI. Oh, that one is a IT. That one is a whatever IT. And so we have this enmity now has developed in communities, in families, whereby they are divided politically. And so that community should be raising a child attitude. It cannot thrive in that environment because we have allowed, some of us have allowed, politics, religion, and whatever it is to kill that dominant spirit that should bring us to be at the pinnacle of our success story or stories like Thea today. And it happens in very subtle ways, that division. When a government is sharing food and they give their own and they don't give somebody that they perceive not to be,
Last question, how are they?
not to be supporting them, then you have to, it boils down to that. When a government, or what poses or passes for government, would be sharing building materials after a disaster, like we have had many disasters over the past 20-something years, and they would give their so-called supporters, who most of them are not in the most vulnerable of positions, but because of their partisan affiliation, they will get the materials that they don't need. They store it under their houses. And sometimes woodants take over. Termites take over. And when they go to check these materials, they have to throw it away. That is some of us reality in Dominica. Some of us, after natural disasters, we are quote unquote more well secured than others. We are in our concrete structures, but we are taking the little lumber, taking the plywood, taking the posts, taking the nails, forgetting. Well, not forgetting, that is not forgetting. Willfully, so that our neighbor, who we think not supporting the regime, would not thrive. That spirit Thea spoke of, it cannot thrive in that environment. Added to that, some of us, we are so greedy. We have whatever we have already. We are secured. And I'm speaking now of things I know. Some of us get a second home. We build a second bunker. And we have our home. Not a galvanized, not a screw, not a nail was raised or touched. And some of us, because of our partisan closeness to the regime, the very rogue regime, I must add, we get sand, cement, stone, plywood, steel to build what some of us refer to as our hurricane shelter or shelters. And we have people under tarpaulin, some of them being your neighbor, even today as we speak. How many years after? Tell me if that community raising a child situation can thrive in that environment. It cannot. So that is what Thea knew when she was growing up, as our national song says, all for each and each for all. That is why we are dubbed the Commonwealth. Because the wealth of this country, as I said and will keep saying, it is supposed to be shared in a reasonable manner. I'm not saying equally. My 5 fingers on my hand, they are not the same length. So some will get more than some, I understand. But the wealth of the country should be shared in a way that everybody should get their fair share of the pie and live very comfortable in the Commonwealth of Dominica. What you have, the reality is that is not happening, and so we are where we are. When you have these greedy politicians, I'm coming back to you in a while. Let me just hone in on 1 or 2 points there. When we have these greedy politicians now, or those who sit in high places, would use every opportunity to steal and to rip off the country's resources and place it in their accounts and place it in buildings that they have people standing for them as proxies, we will always be where we are because of these greedy people who sit in high places. When you have people who sit in high places and will use, as we speak, the resources that are supposed to be going on a so-called international airport, and some of these resources would end up on their property, private property, stashed away, or in big broad daylight, we will always be where we are. And if you Dominicans are not seeing it, you need to open your eyes. Because these things are happening in big broad daylight. And for some of us, we have a veil over our eyes. We are not seeing. We are not able to understand. We may see, but we may not be able to understand what is going on, because we have been in that very corrupt, that crooked, corrupt system for so long that it becomes second nature after a while. So I give you the most recent scenario of greed. Let me go back. Some of you maybe heard me said it already, but maybe it didn't sink in. I hope it's sinking this time. When you have politicians and they would use resources after Hurricane Maria to build a political office in town, we will always be where we are, people. The house that this Labour Party said they bought, as to how they got the money as a party, your guess is as good as mine. We're not even going there. That is for a total another discussion / investigation. Where they got millions of dollars to buy a property in the center of town. And everybody know what passes for Labour Party has not been roasting chicken by the road like the Freedom Party did then, or any other party did, in terms of raising money in bona fide ways to sustain their party. Labour Party is not in that. They're not in that. So they could get money wherever they got it from or stole it from to buy a property in town, King George V Street. And they would use all the groove and tongue boards that were made to be donations for Dominicans after Hurricane Maria. And in big broad daylight, you pass in Roseau every day, you would see the Cubans that were sent here to help us in Dominica. You would see these Cubans on that house giving free labor on that house. And so they fool the Cubans, having them thinking, well, they're helping a Dominican or Dominicans. Watch what it has turned out to be today. Dominicans' materials on a Labour Party office on King George V Street. It is painted in red and yellow with Dominica materials that came into Dominica, stored on the port in containers, and were shipped to that site on King George V Street to build what they say is their party.
they going to be celebrating in Dominica?
What they say is their party office. Then Dominicans, if we are not prepared to do about these things and more, we will always be where we are. And none of us, absolutely none of us, and the children to come in particular, will have any smiling face like Thea Lafont today. No. Because the country has not been, will never be conducive for the Theas out there to strive.
Do you believe the response will be back home?
I have no clue. I don't even know if I've thought past, will I have drug testing after this if I'm chugging water? But I will say, have a drink for me, my island, and just keep loving one another and supporting your young athletes. That's all I ask, so that more of these medals can come our way.
I'm really grateful for this conversation and congratulations.
Thank you so much for your time. You have a great day.
Thank you.
Very much.
So, in winding up here, people, you heard what Thea said? You heard what Thea said to us in Dominica? We need to keep loving each other. We need to keep looking out for each other. And so the attitude that I mentioned before about some of you Dominicans have become so greedy. That is not looking out for your neighbor. That is not looking out for your brother. That is not looking out for your countryman. It says love conquers all. And some of you, I can say by your actions, there's no love in your heart towards country or fellow man, based on your dealings, straight up. Some of you guys will see or know your neighbor don't have salt. And your politician friend or their how I call them, their workers of iniquity, their hustlers, they'll come to you and give you a bag of salt. And you know your neighbor don't have a teaspoon, and you will refuse to give your neighbor. Yeah? That is the attitude some of us in Dominica has taken up in terms of the greed, the political greed that has basically engulfed the country so much that we cannot, as Thea has expressed, love and look out for one another. Thea also said we need to keep supporting each other. Have we been supporting each other in Dominica? Have we? That's a rhetorical question. I leave that to your conscience to answer. When you go to bed tonight, when you rest your head on that pillow, if you do have one, think of the ways that you have supported your brother or sister genuinely in this country. So that is for you to answer, that is not for me to answer. But she said it, let us keep supporting each other so that moments like these, the gold moments, we will have much more golden moments. And so in a nutshell, people, the responses from Thea to this broadcaster reporter, it is a lesson by itself. And in as much as some of us, we are celebrating Thea today, celebrate her for her goal, yes. Celebrate her for achievement, yes. But celebrate her now by living out. That is what it matters. Living out what she said. That will be much more impactful. It will be much more meaningful by living out what she said. So I'm seeing the accolades all over. Thea, proud of you, blah, 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 whatever, from what is it? From chief cook and bottle washer. And so it's all in order. But the chief cooks and bottle washers, you know what Thea has said. You guys are not up to the mark in terms of the practicality of it in your everyday living. And to me, if you really want to celebrate with Thea, that is how you can demonstrate now that you're celebrating with her in meaningful ways. Not in these sort of hypocritical ways some of you have done and will do in the future. So Dominicans, as we bring tonight's conversation to a close, I really and truly would like to impress on all of us, being or getting like a Thea, it is, we need to do. We need to do. Because she did. And I know she will continue to do. And so whatever discipline in life that your mind or heart is set on, use Thea as an example to help pursue in that department. Use her fame to drive us or to help drive us as that driving force to help us accomplish our mission. But remember, she did not get there just like that. And that is where some of us now, we have failed and continue to fail ourselves. We want the success, we want the big name, we want the reward, we want the benefits, we want whatever that comes with it. But the hard work that needs to be done, some of you guys have been lagging, sadly, in that department. So, we have work to do, Dominicans. And it is us coming together as a people that will get it done. And so these conversations that we have on a Saturday, it is the real talk, the hard talk. There's a program on BBC called the Hard Talk. Well, we have our own hard talk version on a Saturday. That is where we eyeball each other and make amends, whatever we need to do, and move on in the interest of our country. This tearing down and pulling down and castigating and all kind of foolishness, even among ourselves, should not continue. We deserve better. We know better. We deserve better. And so there must come a point of reckoning whereby we have to come now as a people and say, you know something? We have been on that road for much too long. And so let us now pull up our bootstraps, gird our loins, tie our waists, whatever it is, and make things happen. Let's be change makers, not change wishers. Some of us have been sitting in the stands for too long and wanting to see something happen. Now is the time you have to come out in the stands. Come down. Just before I leave, Dominicans, we have a program tomorrow, the Civic Vibes program, where the first segment we'll be having a conversations with a very outspoken brother, Zed Lloyd, where he'll be speaking tomorrow on some of the local issues that are affecting Dominica in one way, shape, or form. And if you know Zed Lloyd very well, he says it as it is. So we'll be having that, or continuing on that straight up conversation tomorrow, and letting us come to grips with our reality and what needs to be done. The second segment, we were supposed to have Chief Annette Sanford last week, but we could not have her because the program was already packed when she did give her yes to us. But guess what? There are always better things when certain things are not done or said. And so guess what? We'll be having Annette tomorrow for the second segment. And trust me, the Annette Sanford that you guys know, that the Kalinago people have placed their trust in her and gave her the mandate to carry out their affairs. Annette Sanford, in my books, she's a real warrior. She's a real worker. So you see all the accolades tonight that we gave Thea on her goldish or gold accomplishment tonight, her goldish moment tonight. Tomorrow we are going to have, tomorrow we're going to have another, in terms of someone that can inject in us now that spirit of hard work, that not giving up spirit. Annette, Chief Annette, she will be here with us tomorrow. And so you need to now come to hear from Annette herself, from the horse's mouth as it were, her mindset towards hard work, her mindset in terms of her dreams and aspiration, what she did and what she continues to do to get things done. So join us tomorrow for that conversation with Annette. Zed Lloyd from before 6 o'clock, and so we'll be bringing it down at 8 o'clock. So that is to come once the good Lord above blesses us with the gift of his breath. Tomorrow we'll be doing that. There's a story finally that I just want to touch on before I leave you guys. Is a story that emanated from Grenada. Yes, Grenada, the country of Mr. Deacon Mitchell, where he's prime minister for some time. Young man, let me just see if I can get that story so that I can wrap with that and we can call it a night, right? Let's see. So I can pull up that story for you guys. Well, there was a sacking of a minister, the firing of a minister in Grenada. And so I just need you to hear what went on. Let me just see this thing. Okay, I think I did not do something initially. Just give me a minute or two, folks. I'm going to see if I can pull up that story. coming up in just a bit. Okay, I think I got it.
Ready?
All right. Yep. Okay. All right. This story, people, has been making the rounds. This one right here. Pull you through, and we'll end with this. Yeah.
Barbados Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell refused to get into the weeds of the
Let me just start that from the top.
Barbados Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell refused to get into the weeds of the details behind the reason for firing his Minister of Youth and Sports, Jonathan Lacrette. 24 hours after the news was first made known, Prime Minister Mitchell at a press conference on Thursday stuck to his basic script.
The reason for doing so is that as Prime Minister, sitting in the Cabinet, I formed the view that I had personally lost trust and confidence in Minister Lacrette in his capacity as a minister, and in those circumstances I thought it was appropriate for me to inform him of that fact and to inform his fellow cabinet colleagues.
Pressed, the Grenadian leader was not taking the story further.
Prime Minister, can you highlight some of the scenarios that would have helped you to form your conclusion that you can no longer trust Honorable Lacrette or would have lost the confidence in him?
Well, I just said I wasn't going to do so for that simple matter that trust and confidence is a personal matter in my capacity as minister. For that reason, I would obviously not want to disclose what I consider personal in a public setting.
But he sought to emphasize that there were, in his words, no personal issues between them.
I want to emphasize that there is no personal issues between myself and Mr. Lacrette. I am quite fond of him. There are no personal issues between him and the ministers of government. They have an excellent relationship. This is purely an issue of my prime ministerial discretion in relation to Minister Lacrette as a minister in cabinet, and in circumstances where as Prime Minister I no longer hold confidence in any particular minister. The only appropriate thing to do would be to allow the minister to be relieved of the burden of ministerial duties.
There are fresh question marks over Lacrette's future in politics, and his immediate future, watchers say, is up to conjecture. But Prime Minister Mitchell expects him to remain within the fold of the ruling National Democratic Congress, at least for now.
Mr. Lacrette still remains a member of the National Democratic Congress. I look forward to continuing to work with him in that capacity as a member of the National Democratic Congress. He has also acted as the caretaker for St. George Northwest, and unless he says otherwise, I expect that he will continue to do so.
The Grenadian leader said the Minister of Education will also now act as the Minister of Youth and Sport.
All right, folks, that is the reports coming out of Grenada, whereby the Prime Minister basically sacked or fired, as it were, a minister from his cabinet. Minister Lacrette is his name. You heard Mr. Mitchell said when pressed for reasons why he did that, he did not really want to go down in terms of giving his reasons, but he said, in a nutshell, he used his what did he say? His prime ministerial discretion. But if you know me very well, I sort of went to Grenada and got some information as it relates to that scenario that has been ongoing in Grenada, really the sacking of Mr. Lacrette. And all I can tell you, we have not heard the final bit or the final piece of that story. Mr. Lacrette is still to give his bit, and so also there may be on Mr. Lacrette's part some sort of action legally and that may be pursued in the future as it relates to the decision by Prime Minister, that is Dickon Mitchell, to release him or relieve him of his ministerial duties as Minister of the Youth. Yeah. I've gotten 2 bits of information, and if those 2 bits of information, there are any truth or there are any facts relating to the reason or reasons why Mr. Lacrette was released, then there will be much more to be said. Yeah. But as I said, the 2 bits of information that I got, I'll be keeping them close to the chest for now. Obviously, those of you who are following that story in Grenada, you will be, or you can hear it as well, what is going on the ground. But when the time is right, in terms of speaking based on what I heard from the sources on the ground in Grenada, as to just why they believe that Mr. Lacrette was fired, then you can count on yours truly to bring that to you. All right? But I don't want to sort of muddy the waters as yet. If the water needs muddying, without I do my own due diligence. Yes, due diligence as it were. So Dominicans, that is it in terms of programming for the night. That is the content of the program. As I dubbed the program earlier, a message of hope. I hope that our engagement tonight was fruitful. It was engaging. Sorry, I really cannot go through the comments. I saw some of them coming in, but those of you who did comment, thank you very much for your comment. Congratulations to Miss Thea Lafont Gadson once more, and the number of you that post your comment in terms of her congratulations. Thank you very, very much. We are very, very proud of her, and so that is the sort of outlook that we desire from our country. It is nothing but gold, nothing but good. Yeah. And so on that note, I want to leave you guys. See you tomorrow at 6 o'clock when we will start another conversation with Brother Zed Lloyd and also our chief, Kalinago chief, that is, Annette Sanford. Yeah. Let me just leave you guys with this one from our brother Nasio Fontaine. This is a song that I cherish very much, where he talks about, he entitled this one, Vain, yes, V-A-I-N. Vain Thoughts. Take a listen, and once that song is done, then the camera here will be cut. Yeah, thank you. See you tomorrow at 6 o'clock.